Welcome to My Money Mindset podcast, where we explore how a healthy mindset is the foundation for financial success. Each week, we delve into mindset hacks and practical strategies to help you enhance your income, help you make more appropriate investments for yourself, and to improve your overall financial well-being. Join us on this journey to transform your financial future by transforming your mindset. Please note that the information provided on this podcast is for general information purposes only and does not constitute as personal, financial or health advice. It has been prepared without considering your individual objectives, financial situation or life needs. Before making any financial or health decisions, you should consult with a qualified professional or financial advisor to ensure the information aligns with your specific circumstances. So let's begin and enjoy this journey as each episode teaches us on how to improve our overall mindset that it overall improves our financial success. Motivation from buying things in life can often derive simply because of marketing. And as they say, advertising is what introduces new stuff into your life at all given stages, especially with phones now, signage, whatever it might be. Now, this is a great thing. Obviously, as people or individuals, we often find that quite often when we buy something, it makes us feel better. And that's, of course, but sometimes overindulgence is probably not the best way to go, especially when it comes to finance and overindulgence and a messy sort of mind. I would always ask myself, if you're going to buy something, now obviously, you've got to, as the old cliche, ask yourself 3 times. And then if you think on the 3rd time that you ask yourself and you waited a day or 2 before you buy something, you still want it, then you buy it then. That's always a good way of governing over expenditure. But I like to peel this back a bit and ask yourself, why do you need it? I mean, shopping is great. It does wonders. And a lot of people say, well, you've got to live for today and enjoy it. And absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And I'm a victim of it myself. The moment I see something that I like and would love to buy it, I obviously do the right thing and say, in 3 days, I'll ask myself the same question. If it pops up, yep, let's buy it. So overindulgence, obviously you don't have to be an accountant to work out that over expenditure means that obviously you're running out of money and it's not a good thing for future money prosperity. So what do you do here? I mean, when do you identify too much is too much? Obviously the bank balance. But there's also another little indicator that we can obviously self-regulate ourselves from, apart from the bank balance. And it goes before reaction upon reading your bank balance. So what I mean by that is putting it in your behavior to sort of somewhat regulate yourself to not worry about, oh, let's check the bank balance because it gives me anxiety and I want to see how much is not in there anymore because I've overspent the last weekend or whatever it might be. So governing yourself. So obviously it's like putting a speed limiter on a car. So making sure that the mentality behind buying stuff is it actually going to put me into a better position or do anything positive for my life? And what I mean by positive, obviously, is it going to improve on anything? Now, that sort of answer, to answer those questions, is it going to improve my life? It can be quite vast. And yes, obviously we wouldn't be looking at it. But what motivates us behind what we're actually going to buy? You've got to look at yourself and ask yourself, why am I buying this? Does it make me feel better? Does it improve my life? What does it do? And is it going to be detrimental to both obviously my financial health, but also my bank balance? Because I was really looking at saving more in order to achieve a certain financial goal as an investor, as a business owner, whatever it might be. And a lot of the bank apps today, when you've got a bank savings account, they will help you identify where you're spending your money and help you be able to save it and so on and so forth. Now, if you implement a mind frame of, well, my goal is greater than myself for now, then that's somewhat tips you upside down, meaning that your goal is more important than you. So it's not a great way to look at it. So that's when people start to become too obsessed with achieving their goals and overdoing it and probably overworking. But if you were to actually say that your goal is you, and you know that your goal is you, and I'll use the purchasing of a house as your goal. If I'm going to be purchasing a house as an investment because it's going to improve my life down the track, then that's actually going to be teaching me a few things. It's going to keep teaching me that my life down the track, I'm investing, it's going to improve because I'm making a good investment. Myself will improve because rather than buying odds and ends, I've actually focused on a positive investment that's going to grow. So my money is actually going to work for me, not against me. And I'm actually going to get a lot of other benefits out of that focus. And what I mean by that is sometimes when we are purchasing because we think, oh, we need it in our life, we probably don't need it, but we do it anyway. It culls away and trims away a lot of that over a tiny little expenditure in your life or wasting. So you could actually turn up and say, well, I get paid $1,000 a week. I'm only going to spend 200 and save 200. The golden rule with this sort of thing, most of the time they say is, look, spend if you can save 30% of what you earn, as in gross, and you let's say $1,000 a week that you earn, you should be able to save $300 a week towards your investment property or property. Um, that's sort of a rule. It's not the golden rule, but it's something that can sort of set the bar height for you if you needed that. So making sure that you're happy with yourself are little milestones. Rather than buying something and getting that shopping fix, have a look and see as your milestones, if you do save, using that analogy of saving $300 a week, if you were to make it, hey, let's look in the bank account once a month and see that I've actually saved 300 times 4 is $1,200 a month. In a year's time, you're starting to get closer and closer to a deposit of buying the investment property. And you think, gee whiz, oh, that's only 12, 13,000 that I'm going to save. It's going to take me longer than I thought. But the main thing here, it's not about what you are achieving or how you achieve. Sometimes, quite often, people tend to have like a snowball effect. And what that means is if they actually see over a short or long period of time that they're starting to save and they're capable of doing this, they feel better within themselves and they acquire this greater energy about themselves to think, hey, I'm going to save even more. Saying that 300 turns into 310 or 320 or 350 or whatever it may be, as an example. And it's like a snowball effect within your own motivation, your own intrinsic motivation of saying, I would never have believed if I never saved that initial amount of money just by saving $300 a week. I would never believe that I could do that. And just like exercise, you may start jogging and you probably only last half a kilometre when you first jog for the first week or two. But after 10 weeks, 20 weeks, you start to find that you can jog 2 kilometres, 3 kilometres, and it increases. It's a snowball effect. And all of a sudden you find yourself so fit that you actually fall in love with your fitness and your health because you achieved it. And what you find by that is whilst you are jogging, exercising, working, making money, you're spending less. You can't be making money and spending at the same time. You can't be saving money whilst you're spending. So something's got to give in your lifestyle of making sure that you're proud about what you are and trying to achieve that snowball effect of accumulation, identifying that it was you that accumulated those savings, identifying it was you that put in those effort. And that can be very contagious, which is a great thing, guys, because it's a growth that you're providing yourself, a growth that somewhat you pulled out of thin air and you made it happen. You had the mental focus, and your mental focus has stuck with it. And the distractions of all the marketing type of things has sort of somewhat died down. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't be buying stuff or whatever to treat yourself or going to expensive restaurants or anything like that. I always believe, I'm a firm believer of living for today and the future. So if you are earning $1,000, well, make sure that you are spending it on yourself today, not overindulgence, but respectively treating yourself to a respectable lifestyle and not overdoing it in any form or fashion. So it doesn't mean that if you can work 20 hours a day and make a lot of money for your property. I mean, these are things that you've got to be realistic with your health, because health is number one with all these expectations that you have in life. And number two, the savings capacity that you have is probably going to be governed by your income. If your income increases through your own adequacies and determinations in your employment or your business, great, fantastic. Increase it, save even more. But always make sure that you look after your health and don't overindulge in work by over saving or over committing yourself and not providing yourself the time with your family and friends and sort of isolating yourself. You want to feel good about yourself, but you also want to be socially and today happy with what you are achieving. Now, some of us would probably say, well, Mark, I will try anything in my path to save, but I just can't. I'm renting at the moment. My bills are way too high. I find myself probably $50 at the most at the end of the week or after pay and everything like that. And yes, this is an additional step that is required. If you are finding that you are not able to save enough and you're really motivated, but you really feel as though it's continually too hard to save, and you know that $50 or whatever it is that you're able to save is not going to get you a deposit on anything, you've really got to start looking at what to do. What are your plans? Number one, identify, are you overspending in anything? And most people's reaction is, no, I'm not. But there are quite often times when I'm actually speaking with clients, when I go through the expenditures, there are quite often things there that they probably don't need or they've overindulgent. Now, that's not going to be a lifesaver. So for instance, if you're overindulgent at the supermarket by $50 a week and you say, well, $50 times four every week, every month, I'm only going to save 200. Yeah, that's 200 closer, as in $200 closer, right? And then if you times that by 12 months, it's obviously 2,400 or whatever that is, right? So that's closer towards your goal. But you may also find that your job, or you may need a higher paying job, and you say, well, I can't. It's too hard to find a job. There are certain limitations. And this may be the point. But it doesn't mean you can't stop trying. It doesn't mean you can't stop trying to have a look at certain things in your life, like your CV or your resume, having a look at opportunities, making sure that you're on these employment platforms, sorry, as in to send you alerts when there's a new position that's higher paying, set your bar height higher. If you're earning something on $60,000, $70,000 a year and it's still you think you could do 80 or 85, start really feeling proud about yourself and knowing within yourself that if you keep looking for something and keep trying, eventually it's going to happen. We are too quick in life to always sort of think of us as the underdogs. And that can quite often happen because in life, there's always been, poor judgment, bad decisions, like bad luck, all these things that tie us back down. But we can't always focus on that. We must focus on what is in us today and what we can achieve. And everyone throws their hands up in the air. Most of us will turn up and say, well, it's very hard, but we'll give it a go. Giving it a go and really living it are two different things. Giving it a go is like saying for a month or 2 or 12 months and then giving up. Making it a part of your life is making it a part of your life. Once you learn how to ride a bicycle, you never stop. Once you learn how to swim, it improves your health. You learn how to swim. These are aspects. You've trained yourself to be able to achieve certain things. Those are physical analogies, to also create a mental analogy of making sure that you are always in tune with yourself and you are bettering yourself continually by looking for a job that pays better, by saving more, identifying savings, identifying certain aspects in your life that you would recoup more money in your pocket. Be true to yourself. Don't put yourself down and just justify it by saying, well, it's impossible. Be true to yourself and say, hang on, do I really need something? These are small points. And if you turn up at the end of this and say, well, it's all too hard. Well, it probably is too hard until you do start to change the orientation of your mindset. And that all starts today. Today is the day, not tomorrow and New Year's resolutions and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Do it today. Start it today. Start in micro steps. Always start off small and build it up to where you believe is going to improve your life. And remember, you've only got one life, so you might as well make the hell of it and make sure that you really achieve what you do or what you want to achieve as an individual and be proud of yourself doing it.